I don't know about you, but I've been wondering what makes these divine masculines suddenly change their mind, suddenly turn around when they're ready for union. We're going to find that out today. Welcome to Ascent. I'm Fiery Grace the Gifted. I'm really excited about this reading. I'm going to split these decks. I've already blessed. There's too many on here. You know how I get with readings and the blessing itself. And then I'm going to lay the spread out and we're going to dive in because reunions are happening. I'm not just saying it because I feel it. I am getting messages. I am getting comments. It's beautiful. I need to find out what it is that we are missing and being able to pinpoint why these DMs are shifting. Okay. What year did you meet your DM? I'm curious about this. Okay. Good enough. Good enough. So, make sure you like that. What is that? Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you leave a comment. Do all this stuff. I have a feeling more people than are here right now are going to need to see this video. Okay? Yeah. Let's look at where they've been. I want to get a pretty broad, just general understanding of, I think this is going to be the entirety of the Divine Masculine Collective, and I think this is going to show us where most DMs go, like the direction, the path that they're on. But I also think that this is going to not necessarily be where your DM is today. This is going to be when they're ready for union, where they get. So I think that there's a lot of DMs in this space, but they're not there yet. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So what's up with this Divine Masculine Collective? What are we looking at though here? I mean, if we're trying to figure out where they are mentally, physically, emotionally on their journey, etc., when they finally decide, yes, now's the time, because that's what happens. It's sudden shifts, just realizations, eureka aha moments, and they're like, oh, I'm ready, right? So that's great, but I want to know how that comes about, how that starts, what keeps them stuck in that vibe, why there are so many that are, needing that separation period or needing that time to come to their fullness while their divine feminine is kind of like, what the heck? So let's get some information. Where have they been? Six of Swords in reverse. This to me says they know who you are and they know where they're supposed to be doing or going and what they're supposed to be doing. They're just not ready yet. Six of Swords in reverse. Think about the Six of Swords, okay? Think about that card. These divine masculines want to carry you away to safety. They want to start a life with you. And I think that's a common thing with most twin flames is if you're a real twin flame and there's been some sort of real relationship with you and your person, they usually tell you you're special, you're different. And it's not just a line. I'll never forget. I mean, this was probably 6 months after me and Mr. Lightwork started, messing around and hanging out. We were just sitting on the couch one day and he just starts telling me, he's like laying in my lap and he's just laying there. He wasn't even looking at the TV. I'll never forget it. He was just looking up at the sky and he just out of nowhere, he goes, "You're perfect, aren't you?" And I was like, "Excuse me?" And he just starts talking and he's not like, "Oh yeah, the way you make me feel," or he's not like, "Oh yeah, you're so hot." No, it was like, "You're sweet and you're kind." He started describing my internal traits. He started describing my spirit. And I'm like, what is going on with this dude? Because it wasn't like he was using it as a line. He could get whatever he wanted from me at that point, and he knew it. So there was no reason for that. And truly, that wasn't the way he really spoke to me. I mean, he wasn't mean, but even at that point, he was really a lot just quieter. So if that hasn't happened, if your DM has point blank said to you, stop stalking me, if you've never dated them, if you don't know them, I am not talking to you. Okay? I don't know if this person could think of you that way if you've never been together and they don't know who you are, especially if they've told you please leave me alone. But for the vast majority of twins who do know their twin, who've dated them or, been involved in even in third party anything, they have at some point looked at you or said to you and you've gone, oh, wow. And that is what's made the journey that much harder. Because if Mr. Lightwork could lay there 6 months, it was probably less than that. I think it was like 3 or 4 months into our relationship, and tell me that I am picture perfect. If he could build a woman weird science, I would be it. Then why the F? Why the X, blah, blah, bleeping? Why aren't you ready? Why don't you take me? Let's get out of here. Because there's something that they are not willing to take into the new. There is something that they are not willing to allow to destroy their future. And I know that that might seem like an excuse. And in some cases, don't get me wrong, they're absolutely using it as one, because they also, in some cases, can probably be in the place of, I'm not ready to give up XYZ that I have to, whether it's, women or freedom or, whatever they might think, men, it doesn't matter. But it's not necessarily an excuse. It's a part of their awakening. They're already awakened enough that even though they know they could probably get with you, use you, string you along, toy with you, manipulate you, they won't. Or at least they'll stop after a while and they won't let you come back into their life until they know that they're ready to get out. That's a big deal. That's 3D. This is your DM absolutely knows that you are special, you are something else, you're probably their life partner, that you guys are going to build something together or have these beautiful babies or whatever, adopt, I don't know what but they don't just see you, they also see the blessing and the miracle you will create together. They know there's something in the 3D. I know that there are a lot of readers, and even me sometimes, I will talk about, hey, they don't get it, they're not there, they're not awake, did it. But I think that wokeness, being awakened, all these things they're relative terms, okay? And sometimes context clues are more important than what you might think, okay? You might need to take a moment in these generals and really pause it, right? And say, okay, now, where am I? Because sometimes we just get caught up and we don't think about it that way. Now, let's look at the 5D. Because the 3D, this is where they're aware. This is where they know. This is where they have this understanding. And they've been making conscious, active decisions towards that, and intentional choices, right? This is going to tell us something that maybe some of them just don't know. Because even in having some sort of little bitty bit of awakening in them and, awakened higher vibrational energy in them, they're still not ready to move forward, right? It's still reversed. So what's happening inside? Okay. And remember, when we do a reading, we're getting the information, but we're also needing to pay attention to the positioning, right? Right? This card showed up here instead of here or here or here or here or here. I mean, we don't know what's there yet, but so remember that you're not just going to get the information that comes from what is channeled, but you're also getting the information from the underlying. That's why we show you the energy, right? So don't forget that. What do we need to know in the 5D? Wow. Total divine alignment. Total divine alignment. This is why you as divine feminines may not vibe with me, Fiery Grace. Because I always look for the best in people, and I don't coddle as much as I probably could in this position. So when I say to you that, yes, right now, as your DM, and you can just lay all the things, he's done this to me, he said this to me, she's done this to me, she said, and I'm going to say, yes, even in that, they're in perfect divine alignment. Because then what happens is a lot of people run off on this tangent and they go, so you're saying that it's okay? No, I didn't say that. So you're saying the divine, why would divine, I didn't tell you. You are taking that argument and running the wrong way with it in your pain or your sadness. Let's go another direction. Let's thank God. Thank you, God. Thank you right now. don't care what you want to do. I'm going to do it. How about that? You don't have to do it with me. You can mute me. You just go in the chat, whatever. I'm going to do something real quick. God, I just want to thank you right now. I want to thank you for all the divine masculines who you allowed into the lives of their divine feminine so that the divine feminine could be triggered to look to you, but also so that the seed could be planted. And not only will the divine masculine begin to seek to cherish his divine feminine, her divine feminine, but they will also seek to understand themselves and their life and stand in their purpose and their power, all because of that trigger moment, even if it led to months, days, weeks, years, whatever of separation. Thank you for it. I'm grateful for the time I knew Mr. Lightwork, even though those first year and a half, 2 years even, were not what I would have ever thought to say that's twin flame. That's a normal dynamic. That's even a normal relationship. I'm thankful, God. I'm grateful that in spite of what we may understand as divine feminines in this collective, that you know everything and you know exactly what you have set inside these divine masculines that will grow at the appointed time. Because guess what? It's the divine masculine with the flame behind them. It's always been there. Just because they're not acknowledging who you are in the moment, or deciding to go off and be with you in the whatever it is that they've been doing or even are doing now. Maybe they're not here yet. Maybe they're barely here in your dynamic or whatever. But I don't care how you see it, what you see. I see the good. I see the positive, and I see the divine masculines. They're incredible. They are incredible, because unlike you, they don't have tarot, or some of them don't have a relationship with God, source, spirit, universe, divine, whatever, and they still grind it out. They still keep going. I was suicidal for years. Mr. Lightwork said he's never thought like that about his life. Never. I was suicidal for years, and yet I was so strong, and I knew God my whole life, and I still had that problem. So before I sit here and turn a finger onto Mr. Lightwork and say, Mr. Lightwork had a much harder life than me. He was brought here when he was 3 years old from another country. To this day, he's the only person in his family who does not have citizenship. He was abandoned by his parents at 18 for things that his other sibling, well, not siblings, but one of his siblings to this very day is actively participating in behaviors that, because that person did whatever the parents' conditional love was based on, then that sibling was able to be loved. That sibling was able to receive the blessings. But for some reason, Mr. Lightwork has just been left out in the cold for basically his whole life. He was born first. A lot of you know that I was born first. My little sister, I have a sister that's like 14 years younger than me. She's never known poverty. She's never known, I don't even think they let her go to the hood, if you know what I'm saying. I know what it's like to grow up with roaches crawling on me in the night and having to sleep on the couch because wasps would crawl into my room and squirrels and birds would get caught in my roof and would screech till they died. I know that. Some of you are understanding what I'm saying right now when I say, stop giving the divine masculine so much crap, because half of them did not have what you had, and they're still out here rolling. And you're mad at them because of the last couple weeks or years or months. You know what I mean? Take a step back if you've got some anger issues. Take a step back if you find it hard to empathize with them, especially if they've hurt you. Oh, that makes it even more challenging. I'm not ignoring that pain. I'm not telling you anything, actually. I'm not saying to you, get over it. What I am saying is you need to be able to have your feelings about your situation, your dynamic, and these are real things. You've really experienced them. And you also need to have the understanding that the divine masculine, in no way, shape, or form, your true DM, has never, will never, shall not ever do anything against you on purpose with the intention of causing you pain, because truly they've known who you were since they met you. They just, in many cases, have no idea how to go forward with that. No idea how to pursue. Why would Mr. Lightwork, in his position where I met him a few years ago, where his child support payment was as much as my rent, well, almost, and that was it, and he has high school diploma, he's an immigrant, can't really get too many great jobs. What would I have been like to look at him in those moments and go, why haven't you, why can't you, la 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 la? No, in those moments, I looked at him and I thought, wow, you're really smart. I just had a quick conversation with you about my degree, and you summed up $36,000 worth of education in a sentence. I mean, he's just so smart. He's so sharp. But why would he come into my life and think, yeah, this is the person I'm going to bring all my baggage and all my emptiness and all my insecurities to? Why would he do that? Mr. Lightwork was protecting me. And I'm so grateful that that first year we were together, he really did not let me in. I'm so grateful now because honestly, I probably would have written him off like I did about several things. So, divine alignment. Ask yourself before you make these harsh judgments towards your twin, or even not even towards them, maybe because I know there's a lot of you who you're like, Grace, I never feel that way towards them, but I do get a little spicy with God, source, spirit, universe, divine, and my guides, right? Maybe I kind of understand where my DM is, and so I don't blame them, but I do blame, right? And it's like, again, I want you to understand that there's a reason why readers, teachers, therapists kind of they really intentionally push people towards something else to focus on. And it's because if you watch the divine masculine, some of you have never seen this before. Let me go ahead and see if I can find this, and I'll show you what I'm talking about as I say it. If you focus on the divine masculine when you're supposed to be focusing on divine as the divine feminine, then you're about to see visually what happens, and you're not going to believe me. So I'm just going to show you the card that this was on top of, just because again, some of you were about to click off. Some of you were like, oh, here she go with her story. Here she go defending the divine masculine. Or maybe you're like, Grace, you know what? I love you, Grace, but you say the same thing every time. And well, sorry, honey, I just got 500 new subscribers this month. So let me bring them up to speed, okay? But for those of you who got a little attitude just now and got a little frustrated, look at the card that I was looking for and what was underneath it. All I'm trying to say to you is God is not playing with us. God is not trying to make you feel bad. God is trying to give you the information you're looking for. Don't be mad, okay? All right, so look at the similarity, because some of you know this, so just go. Maybe you'll get something new out of it. Some of you don't like the devil card and you're going to get all weird about it. Just pay attention, okay? Just real quick. Some of you know that there's even similarity between the devil card and the magician, right? One hand up, one hand down. Okay, except in this one, the magician's finger is pointing down, but in and the fire, the dual flame wand that the magician has is actually up here. See, the devil energy is the opposite of everything good, everything raw, everything pure. And you're seeing what's happening here is instead of bringing as above, so below, we bring as above, so below as is above, basically. You see that reversal. And you see that instead of allowing the divine masculine to eat of this beautiful fruit, this fire, it says, no, let me put it behind him, on him, in him, that to where it becomes overwhelming and it just burns, and all he can do is focus on that pain rather than being able to choose it, to study it, to have the wisdom of it. How many of you know somebody or yourself have a back tattoo? You know how hard it is to look at your tattoo on your back? That's why people always say, that tattoo's not for you. That's for everybody else to see. Why put this on his tail where he can't? Do you know how uncomfortable? I know most of you don't have tails. But have you ever tried to grab a dog's tail? Do you know how uncomfortable? Have you ever seen a dog try to eat their own tail? Like chase it, grab it, and then they're like walking weird? This is not an ideal position for anyone to be in for any reason. I want you to look at this. Where is the divine feminine looking? The divine feminine is looking out at the world around them with a stank face, mad about the divine masculine. Okay? The divine feminine is in a very, I will say, low vibrational feminine energy, and the divine masculine here is in a very low vibrational, divine feminine is in a low vibrational masculine energy. Divine masculine is in a low vibrational feminine energy. Okay? And so, you see what happens. And I hate to say it because I know people don't like it, but you see what happens when the divine feminine takes his or her eyes off of God. Then all of a sudden, the things that you're seeing are really the devil manipulating, basically creating hell on earth. But when you focus on God, the devil can't get in there. When you focus on the good things, the bad can't come. Why? Because you get more of what you focus on. You notice that this is 6 and this is 1 + 5. There's a reason why this is underneath, because it's telling you that until both counterparts are able to focus on what they're supposed to focus on, divine masculine's focused on the chain, not the divine feminine. Why? Because the divine masculine wants freedom. Divine masculine is supposed to be focused on feminine, who's supposed to be focused on divine. And look where God is looking. Divine is watching divine masculine. Okay? Oh, I don't know if you guys can see that. My bad about this cards. Okay? She looks up. Divine watches him. Boom. These are the checks and balances of a divine, three-stranded cord, if you will. You break that cord, divine feminine, guess what? Everything else gets ruined and the devil pops up and you don't even notice because you're too busy looking around. I understand that feels bad to some divine feminines. I understand that it feels condescending and attacking. And again, if you're new to my channel and you don't know me, you're going to be mad and all kinds of stuff, right? Because most of you don't realize that this clinical psychology and counseling degree that I have, it comes through as much as a channeling does. I cannot help it. There's a reason why God sent me to go study those things. Most of you don't pay for therapy for a reason. Most of you don't even tell your therapist when you do have one about twin flames for a reason. So this is where God's going to talk to you, whether you like it or not. And you can be upset or embarrassed or think I'm coming for you, or you can understand that I'm just trying to give you information and I'm not thinking about you going, how can I make you be upset? I'm not doing that. I am trying to tell you that your divine masculine has been getting into divine alignment for a very long time. And down to the moment where they met you, even to the moment where they realize who you are, they're still in divine alignment, even if they're not doing what you want to do. Because this is not about getting into divine feminine alignment, baby. This is about getting into divine alignment. Sorry, divine feminine. I know, babe. I am you too, remember? So please, I consistently have to go back and assess my situation with Mr. Lightwork and assess when I get new information. Please don't be afraid to do that because it makes you sad or feel like union's even farther away. Don't be afraid to do what needs to be done. So we get this message. 6 + 6 is 12. We see this hanged man vibe of, even when we think about the hanged man, we go, oh my gosh, just get off the tree. And it's like, not until the enlightenment has been received, or what was the effing point? Okay, so again, this is good. This is exciting. This feels amazing. What do we need to understand? What are our guides trying to get through to us about this situation, about this person that we've been missing and probably to this very moment are still missing? Now, some of you, this is going to be a big old confirmation, okay? But some of you, it had to be me to say it. It's the same thing when I tell people, hey, listen, I'm proud of you for ordering a phone call to talk to me. I'm proud of you when you order a reading and you just say, you know what, Grace, don't sugarcoat, don't lie. I'm proud of you guys who do that. Why? Because you watched my readings and you know how I tell it like it is. And you still watch, you still order, you still choose to do. I'm proud of you. Here I am to help you. Take this for whatever it is, okay? All this was about getting rid of everything that doesn't matter. And all this time that you've been giving yourself a hard time, searching for answers because you thought maybe you were missing something, some of you weren't. Some of you, it was just that your divine masculine had to end this cycle. You add this into that, that's 13, that's death. Some of you have done a really good job, but you beat up on yourself because you think that you're doing something wrong. And some of you feel this vibe and you keep cutting stuff out of your own life and it feels awful. It doesn't feel right. Half the time it ends up coming back and then you feel even worse. But it wasn't your energy to have. It was because you were so wrapped up in your DM's energy and trying to help them that you ended up going too far into your own. And some of you feel bad for kind of being really stern and you know, kind of icky, kind of B-wordy sometimes, also kind of just cold and unfeeling. And sometimes it's none of those things. And you're really just being straightforward and honest and loving. And it still can come across because why? People don't like to hear what they don't like to hear. Some of you have been doing an amazing job of keeping the dynamic where it needs to be and keeping your divine masculine moving forward. It just hurts because you'd much rather be in love. You'd much rather be together and be at peace. So wherever you're at in this, this energy you've been feeling, it was not just for you. You were given the information about the journey and about union so that you wouldn't be scared when it seemed to be going a different direction. You were given tarot. You were given, teachers and guides. You were given maybe a twin flame community or whatever. You were given many, many opportunities to distract yourself, to get your light work going, to maintain a positive perspective. And unfortunately, sometimes this message got a little out of your hands. Things got misconstrued. Or again, you took on the divine masculine's version of this instead of your own. Your divine masculine was supposed to be figuring this out. They were supposed to be experiencing a challenging time in order to get them to start. Why? Because divine masculines tend to awaken at an accelerated rate in comparison to the divine feminine. Whereas I have had, I'm going to say straight up, about 28 to, let's say 25 to 30 years of knowing God, just praying on my own when I was a kid. No one had to tell me to say my prayers. No one had to ask me to talk to God. I was an only child for the first 6 years of my life. I used to go play outside with roly-polies and just sing Disney princess songs to Jesus. I still do it to this day. Not the roly-poly part, but the just kind of singing like I'm in this heavenly choir. I'm all of that. And guess what? I still have had so many moments of ups and downs and all this throughout my life. Mr. Lightwork is coming into this incredible, passionate relationship with God in a matter of days, weeks, months, and years rather than decades. How dare I look at him and say, what are you, anything really, anything. Mr. Lightwork is being brought up to speed, and unfortunately, he did have to go through very quickly watching his life fall apart and maybe even in some cases doing it himself. There's that 1 and 6, that 16, that tower energy, but that turns into what? Chariot. Speed, accuracy, control, asserting one's will and dominance. They had to learn it first. And all you were meant to do as a part of your own awakening journey in this part of your journey right now was watch, not judge. Watch. Laugh it off. And continue to prepare the path for your dynamic by being on the path that you anticipate you'll be on once you're together. Lighten up a little bit, okay? And understand that the confusion is not all your fault. And I don't even want to say it's a reader's fault or the collective's fault, or it's not, I don't want to call it fault, but I know that as divine feminines, we do tend to look and say, am I blameless? Is there anywhere that I can be helping? Is there anywhere I could be moving something along or, again, clearing things away? We tend to be very, what is that word? Oh my gosh, I'm losing it. But my point here is just make sure that you're looking at things in context. Again, it's coming up that way. Think about the fact that not every general reading is going to be directly about your situation. Not everything that resonates makes the whole message resonate, and just when someone says to you to do XYZ, you need to make sure that they're actually talking about your situation and not just giving you more ideas of how to try to manipulate or insert yourself or whatever, okay? I really have a strong feeling here that what we've been missing the most is loving ourselves and being kind to ourselves in a time that does not feel very sweet. There's a lot of power rolling. There's a lot of decisions to be made once you find out you're a twin, once you get into the twin flame dynamic, once you start the journey, once you start the mission. Every level comes with more falling away. It's a lot. So truly, this was not just about you. You were meant to observe the divine feminine through the eyes of divine. And instead, you've been observing the eyes of the life and path of the divine masculine through the eyes of what the world may think about you, especially because of how weird our community, like our position is in the world as the collective. It's like there's a lot of us, but then nobody knows, and then everybody knows, but then it's some people think we're crazy and toxic, others think it's beautiful. There's just so much, you know what I mean? And so I get where this can be challenging, but this has to be put to death now. Okay? And I say this to you to say, even if your divine masculine isn't done with this and they're still here, you need to make sure that you're not letting these messages fly by and say, oh, I'll come rewatch this when. No, watch this now, get the information now, and figure out what to do now so that you can put yourself into this alignment instead of constantly trying to see, okay, I'm just waiting for them to get out of this. Stop that. All right. Okay. I'm going to pause and I'm actually going to go down here. No, I'm not. I'm going to read the low vibrational version of this. I was like, why am I going down? Okay, hold on. Let's go. Let's read the low vibrational of judgment. Oh, look at this. Look at the distance between the two mirrors. Look at the distance between the two mountains. Look at the high and the low. I mean, this is interesting. Okay. You know why I say that? Because in this deck, the renewal or judgment card has the divine feminine and the baby already standing in front of the angel, and the divine masculine has gotten there kind of late and they're like wrapping their arm around, like, I've been here the whole time. And so it's just funny to see that, and because this came up. So I'm just, okay, all right, let's read just the low vibration of judgment. It opens to death. Okay. Doubts, self-judgment, and overcritical. Now, this is totally about to describe the divine masculine, because those three words, I think every single person that heard it, just one of them probably made your hair stand up on end, or you were like, yes, or something. Okay. I want you to type that. If your divine masculine has trouble with doubting themselves, I want you to put a number 1 or a blue heart. If your divine masculine has trouble with self-judgment, I want you to put I want you to put 11 or a red heart. And if your divine masculine has trouble with being overly critical of themselves or just anything, I want you to put 111, so 3 ones, or a yellow heart. Okay. Let's read this. Plagued with doubt, you are constantly replaying uncomfortable situations over and over again in your head. Release yourself. Death. Release, right? Release yourself from your insecurities and figure out what is really bothering you. Your schedule is packed to the brim, which leaves no time to reflect on the past to make beneficial changes towards your future. This is the divine masculine who's staying busy, probably doing what they're supposed to do, which means to me, this is again divinely ordained. This is not just them being in a low vibration. Let's give them a hard time. I'm sorry. I know it. I get it. I hear it all the time. And y'all get blocked real quick when you complain about me, especially if you're new to the channel and you just running spouting off at the mouth because I'm not doing what the 30 other readers you follow and obsessively watch tarot say because you've purposely went and found people to tell you what you want to hear. Sorry for you. I'm telling you right now, your divine masculine has so much going on. They're so wrapped up in their own life. They've got so much crap that of course they don't want to bring you into it. And on top of it, once they are activated, once they meet you, they can't unmeet you. They can't unsee you. They can't, once they realize that they really do want a partner and love and passion, whether they know you or not, they can't let go of that feeling. Do you know how hard that is? They're not, and again, most of them are dudes, or even if they're female or what, they're dudeish in their mind, dudeish, and they don't want to think about their feelings and take the time to, they don't want to do all that stuff. They don't, and guess what? When they do, they don't even know where to begin. So please, enough with the judgment, because I just realized that I told you not to judge, and then judgment comes up. And guess what? Some of you swear to the Lord on high that you've never judged your divine masculine. You've never been mad at them. Baby, I'm not you. I'm proud of you. You are perfect. You're amazing. You're the most forgiving person I've ever met. You are so calm and peaceful. I'm going to tell you straight up. I have been downright furious with Mr. Lightwork. I have also felt incredibly embarrassed because of the behavior of my own. I am not here to judge you. And maybe the reason why you feel judged by me, even though I'm just doing a reading, is because you got a little bit of judgment in there. And if you don't, anyone who's humble enough to say, do I? That's good enough for me. Because that right there is just proof that you're willing to make sure that you are worthy, that you are approved, that you are sound in your logic and your love. Be willing to look deeper. And don't blame these divine masculines for, in some cases, projecting doubt, self-judgment, and criticism, and assuming that you feel the same way that the rest of the world feels about them. Okay? When you have someone who's been down, just beaten down and treated like crap their whole life, when you have someone who's got narcissistic parents, when you have something like that, for you to ask them to suddenly just be healed and perfect and okay because you need them, are you really as awakened as you think you are, babe? Come on, let's work on these things instead of, oh no, come on, get up, let's go, let's do this, let's check ourselves. You know why? Because once you do that, the next time somebody says it to you, you can't unhear what I said, right? Which means whenever you have a chance to be a jerk or be nice, you're going to remember and you're going to try not to be that way. So it's like, don't be afraid. I tell people all the time when they come and they say, you know, so-and-so told them this and everybody believes them. I say, but do you and so-and-so know what happened? Yeah. And so-and-so knows they're lying, right? Yeah. Then why are you upset? Well, because no. Look, the truth will come to light if it's supposed to. And even if it never does, you and so will always know that they were lying. And that's what really matters. You can always look them dead in their eye, forgiving, loving, with a smile on your face, knowing you had to lie to get over on me. I'm pure. Come on, y'all. All right. Allow yourself the space to ask your inner voice if what you are doing is feeding your soul. The fire. Eat the Grace, why were you talking about the flames, Grace? Come on now. You may also be surrounded by a lot of strong opinions. Six of Swords. Come on, Queen of Swords. Come on, think about that. Never mind, Grace. And other people's judgments might be weighing on you. Now, again, God is using this message not only to help those of you who just needed a message, who needed to be here for something, needed to get some information about your DM, but also for who? The stubborn divine feminines. Just because you're here doesn't mean you're stubborn. But if you keep hearing syncs about the specific things that you get triggered by, that's messages for you. So if I said you were judging your DM before this came up, and you know that you got all me, and then this comes up and you're still hearing it and you're going, it's for you. I'm not picking on you. That's clearly God. There's 16 decks on the thing. You know what I mean? All right. Okay. People will always have their own opinions, but don't be swayed by the crowd. Check in, take a moment to be still with your thoughts and listen to what you really think amid the noise. The clarity of your inner voice will cut through all the noise when you give yourself some time. Now, how funny is that? You got God telling divine masculine, give himself some time, and then we got the divine feminine saying, hurry it up. Who you think divine masculine is going to listen to? Child. All right. What do we need to know? Where have they been in terms of the cycle in their life here? What was this about? Now, Grace, how was this previous cycle about new beginnings if the new beginning is here? See, because y'all still don't understand how death works. Some of y'all get so mad that I repeat myself about cards and meanings. And then some of you say, can you please explain the meaning? I can't keep up with all your needs. So I'm just going to make sure that whoever is ready for this gets it. You ready? You ready? You wondering how? Why isn't this here? I don't understand. Because with every ending there comes a beginning. When you have the number 10, you've got 1 and 0. You already have the initiation. You have even the limbo manifestation period between it. Come on. This season was about the new beginning so that the actual new let me just, you remember I said this for them was about the ace, and I kind of pointed to, all right, see, I got to do it in here because I don't like picking up decks and doing this in the readings because it just makes them that much longer. Oh, thank you, Daddy. It was right here. And let's just, I'm gonna just do this. Okay. Under the Queen of Swords, the Moon, the 3 of Pentacles, the 9 of Cups, the 5 of Cups, the Page of Wands, the Balance card. This is what I was looking for. Just wanted to make sure that whoever needed this message. Yeah. Okay. A challenging beginning. I want you to look. Look at this and look at this. Look at this and look at this. Look at this and look at this. I know that this one wings are not showing and this one's wings are showing. Get over that part. She is looking at this in this deck, the swords are represented by unicorns, okay? In this here, the Queen of Swords, her sword is this, right? Okay. So you see that the Ace of Swords is represented right there, right? I just want to make sure. And then you see this here, okay? Brilliant new ideas and inspiration, seeing the truth of a situation, a challenging beginning. This period back here was about, let me put these back, was about getting all the things needed, the things cleared away, the things that were required, the tools, the gifts, the people, everything ready so that the new beginning could happen in its fullness and not be another waiting game, another phase. We've got to figure things out to roll through another cycle. No, this cycle was preparing them for the new beginnings. Let's read it. 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 Number one, come to me. I am ready for you. Now, red is about new beginnings, individuality, cough, cough, being alone for the moment. So you need to be, okay. Leadership and the self. See, sometimes Divine Feminine, when I do a Divine Feminine reading, no one really watches it as much as a Divine Masculine reading, right? But then when I do a Divine Masculine reading and I only focus on the DM, then all the DFs say, but what does that have to do with me? And then if I do a Divine Masculine reading where I say, okay, DFs, here, this is for you, they say, just give me the DM, right? See, some of you need to really ask yourself, why do you watch tarot? Why, and really, why do you keep coming to specific readers? Why do you go to Fiery Grace, right? Why do you go to Mr. Lightwork? Why do you watch us? Some of you need to ask yourself how you expect your Divine Masculine to have their own identity in their true nature, especially if you believe that the person they were when you met them isn't their awakened self. Well, how do they come into their identity if you gonna be the one to help them find it? That's not how identity works. All right, sorry. This card indicates a time of new beginnings where there will be plenty of opportunities to create a fresh start. These opportunities play a very important part in catapulting you to where you need to be. So it's in your best interest to follow them wherever they may lead. He's not going to the new until he gets what he needs for the new season, period. By drawing this card, you're being encouraged to find the inner strength and courage to step into the unknown, to feel the fear and do it anyway and create a brand new life. You guys have heard me say feel the fear and do it anyway. For what card? Page of Swords, the least confident page. And yet he is the most highly skilled, well-trained. I mean, this Page of Swords knows he will be king. He just doesn't believe he's good enough. Why? Because his entire kingdom is surrounded by wise men, or filled with wise men and strong men, and all these knights and soldiers. It's like being in a camp of Vikings, where the one who's 6'6" is the runt. Okay, it's like that. This Divine Masculine has always been meant for better and greater. They just don't believe in themselves because of this. Okay, and you know what this is kind of telling me? This cycle isn't even about you. Ooh, y'all about to be mad when I say that. This has been their life cycle up until this point in many ways. Oh, that hurt, didn't it? Oh, that hurt. But then what you don't realize is you're a twin flame. That means this has always been about you. See, if you could start to trust and love divine, everything that hurts you, when you get triggered, you'll take a step back and you'll take a deep breath and you'll go, okay, now, instead of me and my humanity and my small, limited thinking a certain way, let me ask real quick, if I were divine, why might I do that? Why might I create a person who will eventually be the wisest, most confident, most powerful, just decisive, incredible power? Why would I make them super humble to the point where they barely even believe in themselves? Oh, well, maybe so they don't become a egomaniacal dictator psychopath. You see what I'm saying? If you could take a second and start to ask why, instead of being so focused on why me, why not now, why not my timeline, It makes you feel so much better, and it also allows you to love your divine masculine with true unconditional, not conditional, on my timeline love. New opportunities may present themselves in areas of relationships, home, or career. Sounds like something important for the twin flame dynamic. There might be a chance to move, study, or travel, or embark on an exciting new endeavor. Regardless, you must pay attention to the signs and seize the moment when it arises. When you're open to new beginnings, the universe will send you the next logical step to take. Come on, y'all. In order to improve your current situation, you're being asked to adjust to and harmonize with the natural rhythm and cycles of your life, cycles that are leading you toward an exciting new beginning. Be optimistic and ambitious and move with the changing tides. What does this say? It says, pay attention to the signs and seize the moment when it arises. It also says, move with the changing tides. Baby, it's not high tide yet. It's not time to start the journey yet. And your divine masculine knows it. Maybe they don't know it in the 3D, and they're not sitting here thinking, I'm going on a boat ride. But in the 5D, they've been in divine alignment longer than you think. They've been watching you and thinking about you and moving based on how they expect their true highest vibrational divine feminine to move longer than you've been working on how your DM in the high vibration will move. Why? Because you keep trying to work on the low vibrational DM, and God has consistently tried to tell you across channels, across readers, I'm talking high vibrational people who love you and have your best interest at heart, to stop overly watching these things, stop watching people who string you along, stop watching 50 readings that do this, where you have absolutely no idea where your journey is, and instead focus on bringing your life into perfect divine alignment by focusing on divine, getting your light work going, and just basically trusting that your DM is going to join you right along the way, just like in the judgment card in that deck. Man, no, Grace, just read, because the people who hear me, and they be like, Grace, come on, you can keep going. I love you, bro. I love you, sis. What's up? I love you. Thank you for being patient with me and your tribe. Thank you for understanding that maybe several hundred people that just got here in the last month might not know all this stuff. Maybe you've never heard about the lovers and the devil and the magician. Thank you. I love you. I love you for being here, putting up with all of this, taking all of this on. You're dope. And you know what? If you're like, but Grace, I'm not one of those people, that's okay. I love you too. You may not love me right now in the moment, but I love you anyways. Jesus loves you too. Embrace the mystery in the unknown, and you will make your dreams come true. The affirmation here is, I embrace new beginnings and make my dream come true. Divine Feminine, you need to write that down. Type it at first, because that'll help you remember it. But if you can, write it down, type it out, text it to yourself, put it somewhere. I embrace new beginnings and make my dreams come true. Dreams, new beginnings. Ask yourself every day if the moves and actions you're taking have truly or are truly representative of a person who has embraced, and ask yourself why union is your only dream. If that's the only thing, if right now you're like, Grace, there's so many other things I want to do, but I just can't. Okay, well, that's a problem about you. That's not about your divine masculine. And clearly you're not ready for something yet. Okay, so you need to fix that. Doesn't even mean you have to get on track it just means you need to make sure that you understand what led you down a path of feeling inadequate, feeling incapable of being able to pursue. Come on, Grace. Let's keep going. Alrighty, final thing. Last thing we need to understand. I think this is the end of the journey. I think this is like the final gateway out of here. So what do we need to know? Embrace. You see how they're flowing into each other? Embrace the future. Embracing the future. I step into the future with an open heart. This just told them, open your heart. To me, this says, Divine Feminine, do you see two people walking through here? You only see one, right? And yet this person walks in and they just know. They just know this is the right way. This is the right path. Divine Feminine, please walk through first. You know why? Because you can kind of see the mountain right here. Okay. This is this. You need to go there, because I think what you think is the divine masculine is going to meet you and then they're going to use that boat to take you here. No, I think you'll already be here and they're going to be drawn to you, just like Moses had to leave to go find the burning bush. I think that you are going to already be where you need to be, at least for that moment, and the divine masculine will join you. And then when they arrive, you're going to go somewhere else together on that boat. So this is not you waiting for them to come get you to take you into your promise. You need to walk into your promise on your own, get the process started, because you're going to be the smiling, happy face at the airport when they arrive in the promised land. Okay? You guys aren't meant to arrive together. You're meant to be there ahead of time to get everything ready. When they arrive, now you guys can do this together. You already got some things going. Great. When I moved across the country, my ex-husband actually went to live out there and start working out there for like about 2 weeks before I got there. And it was great because he kind of knew a little bit about the city, what was going on, all that. And it gave us a chance. And even before that, we went out and we sited the place out together. Not sited. What's that word? Whatever. But we did. So it's like, be okay with knowing that before you came here, both of you already kind of assessed where you were going to be living. And now Divine Feminine, you decided before you ever got here to go first. Now Divine Masculine is going to meet you there. And then guess what? You're probably going to move on to the next thing together. There's a missing piece of information here, Divine Feminines, where you think you can't go forward into the promise without your DM. And that's the opposite. That is the devil trying to trick you and keep you focused on, why is everybody else in the promised land? Because you won't walk into it because you're waiting for them. But you guys already have instructions to meet each other there. So you better get moving. Okay. All right. Let's find out. I'm going to flip all of these. Get the freak out of here. This is freaking crazy. Okay. You remember how this one twisted like this too? Okay. I'm going to leave it until, okay. All right. The Chariot. It's the Chariot. It's okay. 13 is death and dwelling in the truth. And this is what they were supposed to do. Okay. Are you guys ready? Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. This is just really exciting. So let's look. And we're going to go through this quickly. And we're going to read. All right. In the 3D, the Divine Masculine is on some Page of Cups. I believe that they've received the sign. Now, what's funny is the Page of Cups here in the 3D, the Page of Cups sits on the edge of the coast and they have a fish in a cup, almost like they went and they got the fish out. So I'm getting the sense of the Divine Masculine arrives to this location and asks, how do I get to the DF? So this to me says that this is accurate. They do know who you are. They did know what was going on. They just knew they weren't ready yet. Now they've arrived. They've hopped off the boat. So this means we've already seen the Divine Masculine moving forward with some intentionality. This was them kind of leaving behind everything that didn't serve them. This was that final Queen of Swords moment. And I think that they even left the sword for a minute, or maybe they leave that on the boat, because we do have some swords on the boat that we're going to use in our new position, in our new space, right? A lot of people think that the 6 swords on that boat can be a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. I think those people take those 6 swords from the land of conflict and struggle and strife, and they bring that information, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, etc., into the new for their new venture. Again, I always describe it like this. Someone who was, violated, dealt with some sort of trauma or abuse, then turns around and writes a book about it or creates some sort of healing ministry, right? That's what I'm saying when I say turn your scars into stars, turn your swords into something big and beautiful, into pentacles, really. So to me, this is interesting because this person, they're already off the boat. They have arrived in the new destination. This person is already near. They are where you are. They're just not in your eyesight. So that's good to know. What's happening in the 5D? What's funny is this to me it seems to be focusing more on the health and less on the work, because both of these are about decisions and choices and health. Okay. This is Archangel Raphael, who is over the like healing journey type vibe. And so to me, this says, hey, Divine Masculine, now that you're here, you need to really assess the situation for your own health, for your own good in that way. You need to ask yourself, what is going to try to distract you? What things are going to come up from your old battles? I think this is kind of dealing with PTSD, dealing with all the pain of the last, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Some of you guys have 75-year-old Divine Masculines, and that whole you can't teach an old dog new tricks thing, that human truth, okay, because it's talk about dogs, but that's a lie. You can teach an old dog new tricks. Anyways, you got enough treats, right? But it's like that human truth of people kind of being set in their ways and stubborn and all that, you still have to contend with that on top of their awakening, right? So again, this is making sure that spiritually speaking, we kind of release the stuff that's going to create chaos for us. It's funny because remember I saw the tower, like if this 1 in 6, and I think that this is saying, Divine Masculine, enough is enough. This period of time, as you travel to your divine feminine with purpose and intention, and see the good things that start to happen around you and all that, this period is giving you one last chance to release yourself from all that does not belong and from all the things that are going to trip you up. This gives you a chance to kind of carve out a little bit of the path. To me, this says that not only do they have the boat that you two are going to take out, the swords that you guys are going to use for your advantage later, but I think this says that they also are kind of clearing the way for that next stage as well. They want to be a part of the new beginning with you. They don't want it to be a repeat of the last cycle. What's interesting to me is we have 6 and 6, and then we have 1, and then we have 1, 0. I told you, I warned you about that beginning and ending. So some of you might go, oh no, don't tell me this, Grace. I don't want to see this. And it's like, first of all, this is in the 5D. This is good. Second of all, this is also showing up after we called out that 10. We also called out renewal. We also called out the Chariot. We also called out death. Come on. So it's like these things are all happening so that this 11 energy in their wholeness, in their fullness, in their self can prove their divine alignment, can prove they're off of the tree, right? We talk about hopping off of that, the 12, the hanged man tree. You know, I talk about this all the time, but I say, I believe that's the King of Wands. I believe that the King of Wands, when they get off of the hanged man tree, they chop off one of the branches and they take it with them because they know it's magical. So to me, I don't see this as a bad thing. I don't look at this and go, oh no. So now you're telling me in the new phase when they're ready for union, we got to deal with this. No, this isn't about you. Again, it's so hard to do a divine masculine reading, directing it towards divine feminine to give you the information without all of us, I think, getting confused about, well, who's this message really for? This is still about them. This is not about you. But this is a blessing for you. You're meant to know this information. What do I see? I see this 10 energy that says, look, I'm going to find my new beginning in the midst of clearing the new beginning for both of us. I've arrived in the land where I know my divine feminine is, and I'm going to go get my divine feminine. And you see the baby. I'm going to also get the information and the message. And then you see the ocean around them. I'm setting out again. Do you understand? This is why, I don't know why this is reversed yet. I mean, I do see 21, and this makes me think about this year for some reason, which I told you this was the year of the twin flame. So now I'm really even more excited. But Grace, stop it. Okay. This also be, by the way, 11, 11. Just throwing it out there. We go from having kind of 13, which, by the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 11, 11. So this goes from 11, 11 to 11, 11 in balance. Because I talk about why is 1 and 3, 11, 11? Because it's the imbalance, right? You see it. It's just that one is holding more energy than the other. The divine masculine is going to be the one to take things on. This is actually a really, really good card for all of this information. So doing everything they can to make sure that the same things that have stressed them out, created all the fears and all the problems in the past are no more. And using the one, I think, kind of magic wand, if you will, right? The one specific divine spark, which I'm going to be real with you. If you've been around long enough, you know that's you, divine feminine. You are the divine spark. That's why when I see Queen of Wands, I don't always automatically go, oh, the karmic. No, honey. You are that for them. You are the spark. You are the Queen of Wands. And it's funny that I'm talking about King of Wands. I'm just telling you, this person on a spiritual level is about to get rid of all the things that have been bogging them down unnecessarily for decades. Okay? And that is going to allow them to get the message. Now, what does this say? This says, review and evaluate a favorable assessment of the facts, time to move in a new direction. Why is this reversed? Let me, hold on. Let's go here and read this. Actually, I don't ever do this, but let me look at the Rider-Waite meaning. What is the reversal of judgment? Weakness, simplicity, aha, ha, ha. Nope. See, I was going to be like, really? But look. Oh, and it's called the last judgment in the Rider-Waite. Ooh. I told y'all this is it. All right, focus, Grace. Also, deliberation, decision, sentence. They've made a choice. Hold on. Let's read that then, since we're here. 10 of Wands reversed. Difficulties, intrigues, contrarieties. Charities. Yeah, all the stuff that's just had them going back and forth. All the stuff that goes against the calling of their soul. You guys, this is exciting. I just threw the book, my bad. Okay, wait, back to this. Ooh, it opened to the Tower. What does the Tower say? Liberation, suddenly seeing the truth, rapid, inevitable change, time running out. Let's read Death because we need to hear this. Inevitable positive change, facing your fears, relationship transitions, spiritual evolution. And now let's read Renewal. Ready? The angels sent you this card because you're either at the end of a project or at a crossroads on the threshold of making an important change. It signifies that it's time to review and do some evaluation, make thoughtful judgments regarding your life, and then make confident choices. Rest easy knowing that you've prepared well. Look, reading this, I get why it's reversed now. Because what they're saying is, this was already something you dealt with. Now your guides are telling you you've done a good job. You've reflected on what you needed to do. You've worked through it, and now it's not time to sit here. You're not at the end of the project. You're at the beginning. This is something new. You're not at a crossroads. You've decided on the path. You're moving forward. It's not time to review and evaluate. You've already done that. Now it's time to move and make decisions based on that. Confident choices, you're in there. You're supposed to be moving with your decisions. This is about what happens when a person decides to actively take on a renewal of their own life. This is incredible. A landmark decision, a career or job change, moving in a new direction, a new beginning. I'm shaking. Okay. All right. The Chariot. What do we need to understand about this? I mean, it's so funny that we talked about the two mountains, and I don't know. I just feel like this is really good. This is exciting. This is obvious. It was called because of this energy shifting. This, to me, pointing back here, some of you guys know how I feel about the Chariot. That's the twin flame in union card. So again, the fact that I can't deny these things, but okay. I'm going to read the high vibration of the Chariot, and it opens to 10 of Pentacles. Oh my gosh. Wealth circles around you holistically, continually supporting you with love, community, and stability. Communal support, wealth, and legacy. All right, but for real, we're supposed to be reading. And then it freaking opens to the 10 of Cups. What does this say? What's the last sentence? Enjoy time with your loved ones, knowing that the wholeness you've experienced with them reflects the wholeness you've created for yourself. Come on. This is about their identity. This is about self. And we're talking about wholeness. And okay. Grace, you're too excited. You got to calm down. Okay, ready? Vroom. You've got your hands on the steering wheel and you're ready to go. You are laser focused on your goals. Laser focus. King of Wands. Okay? And your willpower is driving you straight towards your destination. Twin flame journey much? The road may have a few bumps along the way, but with your determination, confidence, and inner drive, you'll get through it safe and sound. The challenges that you bump up against on your journey will ultimately make you stronger. Maintain focus and you will reach your destination with roaring success. Enjoy each stop along the path while it lasts because it'll make the end goal feel so much more worth it. Enjoy each stop along the path. Remember, I said this person's leaving one place. They're coming to where you are. They have to stop to come get you. You understand that, right? I know some of you might be like, how rude, Grace. All this time I've been waiting. I would have no problem stopping to come get them. Okay, again, you are two different people for a reason. If you were meant to have the same mind and they were meant to think just like you and want the same things as you, you would not have been made a twin flame, period. Fight me on it. Please come to the comments. If from now on, if you disagree with me, bring your information. I'm down, I'm open, but the truth is, there is not a single person of something that I speak with confidence and knowing from what I have explored, observed, researched, and channeled. There is not a single person who has ever come for me and actually brought anything other than, I don't like it. But I'm down. I'm totally down. You don't believe in twin flames this lifetime? Prove to me why you're right and I'm wrong. I'd love to hear it. You don't believe? Let me know. Let me know. Let's keep going. This person is stopping on the path to come get you, and you should be honored. Honored and not that is not humility. That is not Empress vibes. Okay? I'm just saying. If you're wrong, it doesn't mean that you're a bad person and you should just walk away. I'm telling you to fix it. I'm bringing it to your attention because it's being brought in this reading for you for a reason. Okay? It's not about, you're not bad. I I hate that I can't like come hug every single person. And I'm not a hugger either. I do not like to be touched, but I wish I could just hug you and look you in the eyes and say, I love you. I am not trying to hurt you. I love you so much that I'm willing to let you stone me for the truth in something that is, I mean, deeply in, just rooted in your soul important. And I'm willing to come in and shake things up in that area just to make you so much better. I will put up with whatever I have to. But I don't want you to walk away from this and be so wrapped up in either my delivery or whatever the devil's going to use to try to get you to say, no, that's not true. Some of you need to read the Screw Tape letters, and it will help you understand how your thoughts are manipulated by dark forces constantly to make you even using sinks against you. See, some of y'all aren't ready for that, and that's okay. Some of you are not Christian, you don't believe in that, and that's okay. Maybe at the very least, look up a synopsis of the Screw Tape letters and watch a 5-minute YouTube video if somebody's got it, just to understand. It's all right. Anyways, Grace, this person is stopping to come get you. Be blessed by that. Instead of looking at it and going about time or any of that, okay? Or thinking, when? Hurry up then. I'm waiting. I know they're coming, Grace. I'm waiting. Okay, great. That you're doing it again, all right? Pull back. Take it in context, reassess, recalibrate, and then come to me, okay? Because any of you who have done that, I'm down and I'm ready to help. I'm ready to make a video on it or whatever you need. I'm not going to argue with you about something stupid. You're not going to cuss me out. You're not going to cuss people out in the comments. You're not going to do it. I'm going to block you. But if you really need help with this and you want to have an open conversation, comment below and anything you have about twin flames. Let's do this. Let's go. Participate, the rest of you as well. I'd love to hear more about what our collective believes, because we do need to become more, let's just say we need to be on one accord more frequently than we are and have been in the past several years as twin flames, okay? And that may be a good place to start. The divine masculine is being instructed to enjoy that stop when they come and get you. I think it's going to be a beautiful little bubble for you guys. And I also think that when they're ready to step forward and do the next thing, you need to meet them where they're at, because unlike you, they haven't been waiting for them. You know what I mean? They haven't been pining and they've been grinding, and they're not going to be able to kind of fully detach from that grind mode to come sit with you in relationship mode. They're going to come get you and then like, let's go. And you have to be ready. That's another reason why you got to deal with your pain, deal with the forgiveness, all of that before they come. That's what you should be watching these readings for. Not when am I getting my apology? I want to know the exact date, time, and whatever of union. That's not a good idea. That's going to hurt you on this channel and really every other channel if that's why you're watching, okay? Grace, read this. Remember to run your own race and ignore the haters. And honey, divine feminines, that means you as well, okay? If you're hating on what they're trying to do and need to do, they have to ignore you. They've been instructed. We all have different talents to offer, and if you keep focused on yours, you will win the race with style and finesse. Keep your eye on the prize, okay? Now, we're going to go here to effort. We need to understand what's next. And you know what's funny is effort comes right after individuality, which is kind of what we had here. We had this new beginnings. It was another red card. We remember when I read individuality and everyone got upset. No, I'm just kidding. So let's right after individuality, we have effort. This card indicates a time when extra effort is required to overcome your current obstacles and challenges, as you're now being tested and your attitude is the key. Let's just remind any of you who are Christian or maybe have a similar understanding of this. You know that with the promise comes the problem, right? And it's a refining. It's not meant to hurt you. It's not to see if you really want it. It's because good things come, and in order to make sure they're established and firm, it hurts a little bit to dig up to be able to lay a really good foundation, right? All the things you have to do to make something stable or make something solid or make something valuable or whatever, it does. It takes a little bit of, but what's beautiful is you've got 10 of Wands in the spirit. You've got the Chariot. I think that this is not saying that this is like a challenge. I think this is saying to expect this amount of effort, and also to be prepared that if you can keep a good attitude and remember that this is a new beginning, meaning maybe you've never done this before, maybe however you need to see it, I think this is going to help a lot with this new journey or new part of the journey, especially where maybe there isn't a very extended period for the relationship bubble to exist. And the divine feminine may end up being the one that says, well, hey, wait a minute. Can we take a little bit more time? I need to heal. And I think the Chariot has the imagery of that healing symbol in between the two sphinxes for a reason, because it says this is on the job training and on the job healing. As you work together, as you move forward, things will slowly start to feel good. It's like when your doctor says, okay, you're going to rest for this amount of time for your injury, but then in order to help it get better, this is the point where now you're going to actually start to exercise it, work it out, whatever. So this to me says this is a period where effort is required, but you've been given everything you needed to be able to do this. And the attitude shift is going to come because I think you're going to really feel it spiritually. Things are really on your side. If the divine masculine is in this energy, divine feminine, this is my suggestion to you. You most likely need to be in, what page do I feel here? I would say Page of Wands and 10 of Cups. Okay. If you need some advice here, Page of Wands, 10 of Cups. Okay. I'm for real. All right, let's go back. Rather than surrender to self-pity, laziness, negativity, or frustration, you must utilize your inner power, for you are stronger than you think. So now the divine masculine is basically being told, let's use those muscles, right? Let's go into the gym and I want to show you just how strong you are. It's like doing jacket on, jacket off. This was jacket on, jacket off. Don't be upset with the divine masculines for being frustrated, because they were doing the busy work, the tedious stuff, the muscle memory building, right? Now they really get to see what all the, mop the ice. Some of y'all know what that's from, right? Wax on, wax off. It's just just a beautiful thing. It really helps with building something that you would not understand is there. Now, how funny is that I talked about this entire thing was what? To make sure that the divine masculine turned into exactly who they were supposed to be, so that they wouldn't have too perfect of circumstances that made them bad, or too, horrible of circumstances that made them so weak they couldn't function. It's like this was what was setting them up, and now we get to see it work. This was wax on, wax off. This is the time to fight in the tournament. Okay, so again, divine feminine, I believe this is a reunion vibe. We're together, yes, but it's also a time where the divine masculine now needs to learn to lead, needs to, really put everything into practice. This is internship. This is first year of work, rookie of the year kind of stuff. Okay. All right. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. So pull yourself together and have faith in your success. By drawing this card, you're being encouraged to call upon your inner and outer resources to help you achieve the outcome you desire. I'm really feeling this magician vibe, you guys. Rather than succumb to quick fix solutions, shortcuts, manipulation, you must plan, focus, and act with tenacity and drive. Again, that King of Wands, man. That King of Wands. And also, succumbing to quick fix solutions, shortcuts, or manipulations is exactly what the divine masculine had to fight through before. It's why they knew they weren't ready for you, because they knew that the same tactics they were using on the rest of the world is exactly what they were going to use on you. I talked about that the other day in a reading where it was like, the divine masculines had never cared about anything before. Then they meet their DF and they want to care, but they have no idea how. And they realize that it's just natural to keep doing things how you had been. Some of these divine masculines always figured that when they met the right person, they would treat that person well, and it didn't matter how they treated the rest of the world. But they didn't realize that their patterns are going to show up everywhere. And so it's interesting to see, again, we're seeing someone who, whether you want to believe it or not, has been protecting you for a lot longer than you know, and has been thinking of you a lot more than you know. And now we're seeing them coming to a space where they're being directly instructed, do not do what you've done before. That's why we had you reflect on why you're so far away from where you're supposed to be. Okay. In order to improve, back up. With effort and determination, you will break through all restrictions that are presently holding you back. In order to improve your current situation, you're being asked to adjust to and harmonize with the natural rhythm and cycles of your life, cycles that require you to put extra effort into overcoming your challenges. Never, ever give up, and your success is guaranteed. Affirmation: with optimism, faith, and effort, I overcome my challenges. With optimism, faith, and effort, I overcome my challenges. Divine feminine, if this is where the divine masculine needs to be, some of you need to start this reading over from where I began this section and listen to it again and take it as a personal reading. If I say DM, Change it over to DF. Everything I talk about, ask yourself, am I where I need to be? Am I either ready to support this energy? Am I standing in it? What do I need to do to make sure that I'm already here? Okay? How do I make sure that I'm being optimistic? How do I make sure that I'm having faith and I'm walking in that faith? And how do I ensure that I'm making an effort? If I'm making all my efforts towards, for, about my DM, well, honey, if you have not learned about transfers of energy and power and the way manifestation works when it comes to things versus people and situations, you do not know what manifestation is all about, and you need to take a step back. Some of you guys get the basics of something, you love it, it feels good, and you roll with it, but you don't do what you need to do to study the back end to understand what makes it work. Some of you only know about the law of attraction and have no idea that there are other universal laws. Some of you totally believe in God and yet don't believe that God is a God of order. That means you haven't been reading your Bible, right? So get yourself in center with whatever is at your center. Again, you know me, I'm Christian. I mean, that's just the label I use for you guys. I'm actually a Messianic Jewish person, but whatever. I always go back to God, the Torah, to Bible, to, to Jesus. What's your thing? Because if you don't go back to that thing and assess your life and make sure that everything you're doing is working and coinciding with that great power, if you don't feel at peace, none of this is going to work. And you're not going to trust, and you're not going to end up being here. You're going to be here. And look, I honestly don't believe that the divine masculine is going to show up here where you're supposed to be and you're not going to be there. I truly believe you have to be there first. So again, I don't believe there's such a thing as anyone really being able to delay their union. I do believe that it's easy to describe it that way, but in the grand scheme, that's not what's happening. And I also believe that it's definitely true that someone can make that period a miserable time in their life by focusing on the bad and focusing on the negative. So if you can check yourself and just say, how can I get myself to be here? And then once I'm here, how can I get myself to stop lowering my eyes? How can I get myself to stop taking my eyes off of divine and looking around because I keep inviting in the darkness, the dark thoughts, the fears, etc. How can I make sure that I have already overcome a majority of my challenges from the previous cycle and made my way to the new space? How can I do that? How can I be sure? You have to start to do these things. All right, let's read our final card today. Dwelling in truth. It's funny because I opened to embarking on an adventure, and that's what's next. I told you. I'm just trying to tell y'all there is a limbo phase. You know what? This is the perfect way to talk about it. Remember, I kind of already said it, the 10, but I want you to think about this. The Fool goes through the Fool's journey from 0 all the way to 21. But then the cycle begins again, right? But what happens when the Fool's going here? How does the Fool get from 21 to 0? I call that 22. A lot of people are like, Grace, there's no 22 in the deck. I know. That's because the Master Builder is not in the 3D. It's in the 5D. So there is a period between every new beginning, every ending, where all the things that have been already in motion and coming for you, like the things that this was setting up, those things are already starting to flow into place. And then there's also this period where you're manifesting things that you're going to need, maybe step 2, step 3, step 4. So the things that needed to be there and already be established for that first step, already probably there, if not falling into place right now. And then as you really end a cycle, you start to make sure and bring everything together and manifest for step 1 and so forth. You need to realize that there is a step or a stage between separation and blissful union. I often call it what? Pseudo union, like pseudoscience, pseudo union. It's kind of union. It's like being boyfriend and girlfriend or even husband and wife. Some of you are in what feels like union, and yet you keep watching separation videos because you know your person isn't awakened yet. Not everybody who's in separation has to be living separately from their person. True blissful twin flame reunion is working on the mission, is complete vulnerability with each other. That's where I say, even some of you who come into this phase here, yes, you're going to be reunited, but it may not be what you think. It may still be pseudo union. So that I think this reading also is to help those of you who are in this phase right now and your DM is about to come in or already has, and you're trying to figure out why. You're like, because I think what might happen is some of you might get scared and go, maybe this isn't my real twin. All this time has passed. I finally get with them and now it's not good. Don't do that. Okay. All right. So this is like stage 1, I guess. Not really, but okay. Just think about this. This is like stage 2. And then there's like stage 3. Stage 1 is helping it to embrace the future. Stage 2 is helping to exist, find, dwell in, and embody truth. And then stage 3 is the real adventure. Okay. So that's good to know. Let's talk about dwelling in truth. I stand in the light of truth. The soul loves the truth. Be honest with yourself and listen to your inner guidance. Follow it by speaking your truth. To thine own self be true. You two cannot be these beautiful partners, twin flames, even equally yoked, meant to go out 2 by 2, change the world. You guys could not do that if either one of you wasn't standing in your truth and did not know yourself. You can't. You radiate the energy of truth to others so that they can find their truth. Divine Feminine, that might be what you needed to learn here, is how to radiate your own truth so hard that your Divine Masculine could not help but find their own, because it was like, I want to feel like that. It was not for you to help them find your truth. Your truth and their truth may not always be exactly the same. And it doesn't mean that that's because they're going to live in false or you're going to live in false. It just means that there are certain things, certain truths that are more important in the moment. Like it's like, I don't know. It is true that this owl has white paint on it. So that does not matter. Do you see my point? So don't always think that they need to be completely on your side, completely in your, it's like, have you ever tried to point in the sky and say, look at that star right there? And you have to grab the person and put them where you were just standing and then like point and guide their hand in their eye. You know, you cannot do that with your Divine Masculine on everything. They're not always going to do that. It's not meant to be that way. That is, you guys are not half of a yin and yang. You're a full one. And remember the differences in those colors and the line. Remember the symbolism, okay? All right, Grace, finish this, please. There is a place inside you that always knows the truth. Take time to be still to discover that genuine place of knowing within. Often, the hardest thing about living your truth is discovering what it is. So it's important to slow down, be quiet, and listen to the whispers of your soul. If there's an area of your life in which you're not being authentic or where you're not living in integrity, this is the time to make some changes. I really see proposals, living together, marriage, working together. This is where this stuff gets established, which is really exciting. All right, here's the questions to ask. Is there an area of my life where I'm not living in integrity? What do I need to do to be in accordance with my deepest truth? And is there anyone who isn't being truthful with me? And do I need to take action regarding the situation? That's a question that a lot of you as Divine Feminines need to ask yourself when you're in separation is, just because I got that information, just because I saw that sync, just because I saw that sign, do I really need to take action? Or is it just for my information? Yeah. Don't worry. It's a tough spot. As a Christian, I remember 10 years ago, I prayed for like 3-4 months straight, tearfully crying every single day, reading through this. I would open the Psalms and I would just start to sing the words, because it was, I don't know, I always ended up opening to these like the most lamenting, just, oh, my Lord, how long will I endure? And I just kept saying, God, I don't know, should I stay or should I walk? Should I move or should I sit? I don't know what to do. Am I supposed to have faith or walk in my faith and work in the faith? What I remember. And I get that that is a very easily translated over to the twin flame dynamic. It is so hard. That might be something some of you need to take some time with, okay? Oh, this was awesome. I missed you guys. What's up? Welcome. I'm Fiery Grace the Gifted. If you're interested in working with me, remember, I'm not a tarot reader. I say that, in the moment, just like I say I'm a Christian, but I'm not really a Christian. So, I'm an intuitive life strategist. I'm here to help everyone that I come into contact with in any way, shape, or form, whether they pay me or not. Okay, that's why I do 1 and 2 hour long free readings on the internet, because it's not about that. It's about helping you see that there is another way. There's another approach. There is a strategy here. There is a way to make this better. I can't help you in every single little thing in your life, but I can plant a seed. I can spark something in you. So if you like working with me, go ahead and subscribe. Please do like, share, comment, all these things with this video especially. This is a really, really important message. I think a lot of twin flames need to see this. They need to understand some things. They need to have a new perspective on who their divine masculine really is, okay? So if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, I offer all kinds of different sessions. Right now, I have a great sale going on the website. I also have readings that are already recorded. They're called exclusives. The exclusives are around $10 each. You can get a good discount of having one if you buy a sale. I'm sorry, a package. Those you end up saving a lot of money, and you basically get like a bonus reading completely free. So I have those available for those who, are right now, income, affordability, all that's super important. I also have huge, massive, incredible channeled readings like contract readings and discovery sessions that can help you identify who your counterpart is. And I mean, there are readings that as long as YouTube lets me keep videos up, you're going to be able to watch them for the rest of your life. And they're going to be things that you can, I think, use not only to help you identify your twin, identify where they are and where you are on the journey, but also help you so much with your light work. And I have everything in between. So if you want to work with me and get a reading, great. If you want to work with me and do a phone call, I love talking on the phone about this stuff. It's just, I'm not a phone person, but I am totally a phone person when it comes to strategizing and working through things. I just love it. So I'm also going to create a new upgrade option for all my phone calls to video and FaceTime. I do not, if you haven't noticed, like being with my face on camera. I hate video chatting because it's not even about you guys. I've never liked it, ever, ever. And so I never offered it because it was like, man. So I'm going to add an upgrade option to it. But you don't have to do that. We can totally do everything on the phone like normal. Okay. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to look at my face to get the message. But please just know this. If you buy a phone call and we do FaceTime, I'm still not doing tarot. Okay. Tarot readings and my phone calls are completely separate. If you want to be able to talk to me and have a reading, you're going to have to order a live session. You can also work with me and Mr. Lightwork. Those are called reunion dynamic sessions. Okay. So we do videos where this is the most affordable one, is if you do a video where you send us some information and then we'll both kind of talk and send you a video together, and that you will see my face and his face. We also have phone calls, again, a very affordable way that way you're, meeting with two coaches, you're also getting the divine masculine perspective. So that's cool. But then we have, just readings and stuff where you can get a message kind of like this, a pre-recorded reading or something from both of us. So there's a lot of different ways to work with Mr. Lightwork and I, with each of us as individuals. Mr. Lightwork also does love letters now. So lots of different things. Check out the website. As I said, until we are fully back into a new level of economic prosperity on a global scale, I will not be increasing my prices, and I would not be able to reach the people that I'm trying to reach. So I'm always going to have sales. My prices are going to be right around where they are, and I'll make sure I let you know when there's really, really good ones. Okay. So the last thing I want to mention is that I also complete analysis. Like I can look up your name. And like Fiery Grace is the meaning of my first name. So, and I've been doing those for 15, 20 years now. So if you're interested in me analyzing you and your divine partner's names, or looking at your birth charts, anything like that, I do these analysis that really rely on my research skills and all that. And I never really talk about them. And, people order them and I'm always surprised, like, how'd you know? Because I have them on the site. But just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that if you really like my intellectual or logical aspect of my mind, and you don't mind not necessarily getting something channeled, or whatever else you might think you need, I really suggest those services, because to me they're the most personalized you're going to get, and they're things that are going to click in ways that channeled messages can still take time. Like me telling you, here's what your name means, here's the energy that it carries, here's what your names mean combined together. To me, those things are a lot easier to I'm putting my hand in my body like this, to consume, to digest. than some of the other things. So I'm just throwing all this out there because I keep getting a lot of messages of saying, your website's overwhelming. I don't know what to pick, or I actually like all these different things. I have all kinds of packages that put some of these services together. Just take some time. I've reorganized the website to make it a little bit more easy to find things. And then the last thing I'll mention is, please remember, if you want to do what I do or anything like it, if you'd like to know how to run a business from your home just using the internet and a few pieces of tech and make really good money and reach people around the world without having the overhead of an office, if you want to work with someone who's been doing something like this for years successfully, and you hear how many times I tell people don't watch tarot and stuff, and I'm still doing good, I cannot get you divinely aligned, but I can definitely help you with the 3D stuff, okay? You're going to have to put the work and the effort in, but I can really help with the learning curve, especially if YouTube or how to make your YouTube business without just depending on monetization, which can take years to be able to qualify for. If you're trying to get on that, please, it's my absolute most favorite thing to do is to help people with their light work. Okay. So please let me know how I can help you. Let me know how I can be there for you. And again, I have services as cheap as $2. And I have services as expensive, like the channel, what's it called? The twin flame contract is a couple $100. It's expensive, but it's a 90-minute spread. You get a picture of it, your contract illustration that you're able to use for the rest of your life. I've never heard a single person come back and say it wasn't worth it. So if you want something like that, awesome, but you don't have to spend a lot to get help, and you don't have to spend anything on my channel to get any kind of assistance. I've got readings, I've got videos, I have over 600 different viewable pieces of content available to you on this website or on this YouTube channel right now. If you can't afford it, or you're just like, I don't pay for readings, I don't believe in that, no problem. Go to your YouTube search bar, type Fiery Grace the Gifted, and then any keyword afterwards, and I promise you readings will come up, okay? Because I've done it on everything I could think of. I think that's everything. It's been a while. I've been getting a lot of emails because I haven't been explaining this stuff very well. But I think that's everything. So yeah, go to my website, check it out. There's also erotica on my website. You could read more about me. You could learn more about my homeless ministry or how to start your own. I have handmade runes. If you've ever seen my runes, I make those. I can tailor them to you. Like, I'm just trying to make sure that I do a better job of getting that information out to you guys. So if you need me, hit me up. If you want the auto reply and want to know what it's like to work with me and all that, you're going to want to send an email directly to thefierygrace@gmail.com. If you contact me through the contact us page on the site, you're not going to get the auto reply. You're going to have to wait for me to contact you back. Okay. I do accept PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo. We also now accept Amazon Pay and Stripe. And if you are open to paying with other things, Stripe is very reputable. So I would ask kindly if you don't mind paying through Stripe instead of using that PayPal Quick Pay, unless you have to, only because PayPal has been being very unfair to Mr. Lightwork. We're not sure why yet. We honestly think it's just part of their business tools, and their plans is just trying to get as much money out of people as possible. But we're trying to kind of lean away from PayPal. But if you got to pay with PayPal, I've seen still people paying with it. It's no problem at all. But I just wanted to make sure that if you hadn't seen the other reading where we kind of mentioned that, they've been holding his funds, and just, it's really, really weird. And again, their recommendation to us was if he needs the money, just for him to take out one of their loans. Again, very fishy situation. So open to it. But if you're like, Grace, I stand with you. I stand with Mr. Lightwork. Stripe, Cash App, Venmo, Amazon Pay are going to be better ways for us to receive payment. Okay. All right. I think that's everything, guys. I mean, I have a Lightworker reading similar to this. If you need your light work, I mean, I'm trying to think of, again, if you just can't afford anything, or you're not looking to do that right now, then I have a playlist that a lot more people should check out. There's 11 videos on it. It's called Union Manifestation and Affirmation Tools or something like that. But I've been giving y'all my secrets away about how I was able to deal with a very tough time my first couple of years of union with Mr. Lightwork for years, and people just only watch it because it's not a reading, and so they only watch it if they're bored or they're just like, I want more grace or whatever. But I'm telling you, it's pretty important. Oh, and finally, Members, thank you guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you for supporting the channel. We are so grateful. And I am going to put out the Valentine's Day love note because one is coming through. I'm going to put that out early for the members. So make sure you check the membership tab in the next couple of days before Valentine's Day, and you can get a sneak peek of the channeled love note from the Divine Masculine for Valentine's Day. All right, that's everything. I'm super hype. I have chills. I don't know what's going on. I love you. Bless you. And if you're still here, leave an owl. Leave an owl emoji or type hoot or hoo hoo. Okay, I love you. Bye.